So it's day 4 now, or we're heading into day 4 of the second Ashes test. And well, it's set to be a pretty crucial day, especially if you're an England fan. Because right now they're absolutely on the ropes as far as the way the test is concerned. Australia in total control. Could this be one of those rare times you'd see the away team actually take a 2-0 lead after the first 2 tests? Wow.
Yeah, I think so. It's pretty much, it's very telling right now that Australia is going to take this match away. And I think Ashes is slipping away from England at this point.
Absolutely.
Because the baseball is clearly not, the baseball style or the baseball ploy is clearly not working against Australia. And I don't know, I think England has no idea what to do at this point because they've lost early wickets on day 2, with Ben Duckett, Zach Crawley, and then Joe Root and who else?
The short ball tactic worked really well for them. Yeah.
The short ball ploy worked really well for Australia, and now today, yesterday, Australia came into bat and performed really well with the bat. Usman Khwaja did very well. Manas Labuschagne has been doing well. David Warner, they have now 200 and...
Yes, close to 200.
Close to 200.
In fact, as Parag Bhatia is asking us, he's saying, should Australia declare after getting a lead over 400? No, I think they'll look to get 450.
Yeah.
You can never be too sure with this England team. So you'd want as much buffer as is possible. So I don't think 400 will cut it. 450, ideally, you want to be putting England into bat.
Yeah.
I think after tea today, you give them 4 sessions. Because that just kind of dangles the carrot a little bit. Say 100 runs per session on a track that should be, in theory, dying down. Would very well be doable. But again, that's assuming Australia can get there 450, because again, I cannot for the life of me rule out another collapse. No. We saw it happen in the first innings with the Aussies as well. 339 for 5. From there, 416 was kind of underwhelming. Of course, their bowlers did very well to keep them in the game. Thereafter, get England out 325. So at that point, you're thinking, although England, of course, never really helped themselves with trying to be aggressive for the sake of being aggressive, I would say.
Yes, but England now have a really, really big task, to get...
They need to get quick wickets.
Quick wickets. The first hour will be very crucial as
again.
we say. Once again. It was crucial for Australia yesterday, wasn't it?
It was.
In, I think, the first 3 hours, Australia had bundled up England.
So it does happen. These early sessions, obviously the first half hour, 45 minutes, up to an hour really of the day when it's starting, that's always very, very important, because again, that's the moment where you're just kind of fresh. It's as good as starting afresh, isn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're on 90 or if you're on 9. You're starting a whole new day at this point. And truth be told, you're just pretty much thinking, okay, how do we, start off slow? Do we look to get aggressive? Do we settle in? If you settle in, are you just waiting for that one good ball? And I think, but of course, Australia are lucky that their batting lineup, at least the top order, extremely experienced. And right now, if I'm not wrong, they have Smith and Khwaja at the crease. That's 2 of your most experienced batters at the crease right now. Yes, obviously they've lost, Davey Warner. That wouldn't have been ideal for them. And Labuschagne. Labuschagne just has, unfortunately, not quite had that one Ashes-defining knock in England yet.
That's true.
But, I mean, obviously they'd be very confident, especially knowing the fact you have a Travis Head, Cam Green, Alex Carey coming lower down who can get you quick runs.
Especially with Steve Smith and Usman Khwaja on strike. On the crease, Steve Smith has been more than just wonderful this Ashes series, and we've seen what he can do. We've called him the GOAT as well.
Yeah.
I think Steve Smith has settled that debate for now, that he's a GOAT in tests. But with Steve Smith on the crease, I think it's going to be very difficult for England to get him out, because we saw that in the first innings as well, that Steve Smith was especially hard to get out. Nothing was working against him. But let's look at what happens and how many more runs Australia gathers.
Yeah, I think that's going to be key for them. How many runs you get, how quickly, because again, I don't think they'd want to be batting more than 2 sessions. So I think a lead of anywhere above 450 should in fact be in theory enough for them. Right now, I'll just quickly go over the scorecard. So they are at, no, that's the wrong scorecard, sorry. So they're at 130 for 2, which means 221 lead is already there.
Yes.
230 runs approximately in about a couple of sessions. Very doable. Very doable.
And knowing that they have Cam Green, Travis Head, who else?
Alex Carey. The ultimate counter-attacking man.
It's not easy. But
Yeah,
England
I'm
are not getting this. I
exactly.
don't think England's winning this
If
one.
they win it from here, it'll be one of the biggest turnarounds, probably even bigger so than what Headingley 2019 was.
Yes.
Because that's how stacked I see things are as far as Australia are concerned. Again, if England are to get anything, they need to get these two out instantly, because the advantage or the disadvantage with the other two, the other three batsmen, is that they tend to sometimes go aggressive and throw away their wickets, much like the baseball, let's say the cult of baseball English
The
batsmen.
approach?
Yes, because you saw Cam Green in the first innings. I think he got out to one of the most unnecessary shots ever. I know it was a short ball from Joe Root. It was kind of there for the hitting. He didn't get enough power in it and gave probably the easiest catch that James Anderson has ever had to claim. So,
And now with Moeen Ali out,
exactly.
it's not going to be easy for England.
But
because-
if you're talking about for Australia too, remember they're going to have to be without another goat of theirs. No Nathan Lyon.
Oh no.
That I think is going to be something that will actually really test them in the fourth innings, because who are they going to turn to? They will most likely go to Labuschagne. I mean, maybe Travis Head. He bowls part-time off spin.
Maybe.
They need spinners.
I don't know. Yesterday they did not use any spinners.
Yeah, but I think
whatsoever.
but on day 5 you might.
You might. Yeah, we've seen what the Lord's pitch can do, and having a spinner, even if it's one specialist spinner, that really helps your your case. But now that Nathan Lyon's gone out, maybe Todd Murphy will come in the next
next test, yes.
But for now, I think things
They're
are
going to have
looking
to,
grim.
yeah, they're going to have to turn to their part-time options. So you might just see Labuschagne roll his arm over. You may very well see even Steve Smith bowl a couple of overs of leg spin. How long has that been? And of course, yes, Travis Head is another option they have, but they'll need a few overs of spin. But if they can get 450 runs, it probably might not matter as
Yeah.
much. It won't, because again, even I would not even back this England baseball team to be chasing down 450. It's just too much.
Suppose Australia crumbles, in the first, I don't know, loses about, gets
2-3
all
wickets,
out in the
yeah.
next 4-5 hours. Are you looking at a draw there?
No, I don't think they'll go for a draw. If they get all out, and I'm assuming if I'm England, I say realistically anything under 350 is chaseable.
Yeah.
But don't forget, they already have a lead of 220, which means you need to get 8 wickets for 120 runs at most.
Yes.
So even that's not going to be easy. And not just that, see, it's one thing getting the 8 wickets. Australia will slow down their progress if they lose a couple of wickets. It's also about how much time you give yourself.
Yes.
If even if I want 350, or if I have to chase down 350, as a batting team, you have to be looking at least 4 sessions, because you need that contingency time. You can't just be going bang bang. Test cricket is not T20 cricket, much as we try and make it, or much as the baseball approach tries to approach it similarly. There will be times you'll lose wickets in clusters.
Yes, and I think we should head to the comments for a little while. Abhinav Gupta is saying baseball has been all about 4th inning chases.
Yes.
This would be their ultimate test.
Correct.
Yeah.
Spot on, Abhinav. They've in fact made their name really from these big chases. You remember what they did to India also in that one-off test. So, I think that's right. Dex points out that England did a lot of laughable blunders, which eventually will cost them this test. Couldn't agree with you more,
Yeah.
Dex. There were a lot of tactical issues.
With the reactions that are coming in for baseball and the baseball approach, it's not looking good.
See, I'm okay with the approach. Now, I think, what the real test will be. How much are you going to stick to your guns? Or I think this is one of the first times where this approach hasn't worked as expected. I mean, they steamrolled New Zealand. They made a mockery of India. They made even Pakistan look ordinary on those roads of the pitches that are served up in this, Pakistan.
Yeah.
Now this is a real challenge. Australia are a truly good top test nation. If you can somehow even salvage a draw from here, I know it's not ideal in terms of, let's say, your WTC standings, since again, you don't get as many points for a draw as you get for a win. But if England can somehow salvage a draw from here, they'll at least take that confidence heading into the third test, where they can maybe one more change. I don't know. Ideally you want a spinner.
Yeah.
Joe Root does a good job, but I don't think he's going to be, that option all the time. But let's see. I think they will make a couple of changes, but I think they're going to stick to this approach. It's just about picking and choosing your moments. Right now, I feel like they're just in that one mode all the time, which doesn't help them at all.
Okay, so Sarat Chandra Yalamarthi is saying Australia would keep 500 as base for England. As England has made other teams feel fear about their batting.
It's a good point, Sarat Chandra, because again, as I said, that's why I was saying 450. Normally, for most other teams, you could get a 400-run lead and you're good.
Yeah.
But with this England team, I don't think you're looking at anything less than 450. And even there, you're right. You could actually be seeing, 450, maybe even 500. Abhinav also points out that Stokes' form is hurting England a lot. Yeah, kind of. But again, he's that player who does tend to kind of, bring out big match performances. So again, if any man can rescue them from this situation,
It's
you would
Ben
think it would be
Stokes.
Benjamin Andrew Stokes.
Yes.
Anshu Mishra making a big prediction saying Steve Smith now,
Another century.
another century.
Loading.
If he gets
94 short.
94 shot, that's it. That's what, 1.5 sessions for Steve Smith.
Not a
He'll
lot.
get there. Not a lot for him.
Yeah.
But if he can get a century, then I think this test match, England may as well kiss a
Yes.
goodbye now only. So, well, let's see. We are about just a little over 15 minutes away
yeah.
from the start of the test match. Well, of course, if there's happenings them there, you can stay tuned to Sports Today. We'll keep you updated. For now, we are taking your leave, but thank you guys so much for joining us. Don't forget, if you enjoy our work, like, share, subscribe, tap the bell icon, leave us a comment too, and also don't forget,
To download the Sports App.
also follow us across socials and stay tuned. Right now from Gargi and me, it's goodbye.